I'm Genzy, and you're listening to SKM Mysterious. 11:47 p.m., July 19, 2018. The email arrived while Maya Chen was standing in her kitchen, holding a glass of water she'd poured but hadn't drunk. Her phone lit up on the counter. The subject line read, "Statement available, account ending 4829." It was their credit card, the one she and Daniel shared, the one they'd agreed to use only for groceries and gas. She opened it while the tap was still running. There on line item 7, Sandpiper Inn, Orlando, $127.99. July 17th, 2 days ago, the day Daniel had texted her from the office saying he'd be working late on the Meridian presentation. Maya set down the glass. She didn't remember setting it down, but later she'd find it on the counter, still full, the water room temperature. Her hands were shaking when she called the Sandpiper Inn. The night clerk who answered sounded young, bored. "Sandpiper Inn, how can I help you?" "Hi, I'm calling about a charge on my credit card from 2 days ago, July 17th. "Okay, what's the name on the reservation?" Maya hesitated. "Chen, Daniel Chen." Keyboard sounds. "Yep, got it. Room 208. Checked in at 3:47 p.m., checked out the next morning at 10:22 a.m. The next morning. He'd stayed overnight. He'd come home that night around 11, smelling like coffee and printer ink, kissed her on the forehead and fallen asleep beside her. Can you tell me if there was anyone else on the reservation?" "Sorry, privacy policy, but it shows one guest." "One guest, one keycard issued." "Thank you," Maya said and hung up. She stood there in the kitchen for a long time. The refrigerator hummed. Outside, someone's car alarm went off, then stopped. She could hear Daniel upstairs, the sound of him brushing his teeth. When he came downstairs 10 minutes later, she was still standing there. "You okay?" he asked. She showed him the statement on her phone. Daniel's face did something complicated. First confusion, then recognition, then something else, something she couldn't read. "That's weird," he said. He took the phone from her hand, scrolled. Maya, I didn't book this." "The card was charged." "I know, but I didn't use it. Someone must have." He stopped. "Did you call them?" "Yes." "And?" "They said Daniel Chen checked in at 3:47 on the 17th. Checked out the next morning." He was quiet for a moment, then, "This doesn't make sense. I was at work. I was in meetings all day. Jeff can verify, Sarah can verify." "Then how did your name end up on a motel reservation in Orlando?" "I don't know." He handed her phone back. "But I didn't book it. Maya, I swear to you I didn't book it." She wanted to believe him. Part of her did believe him. But there was another part, a part that had been sleeping for 3 years of marriage, that was now awake and asking questions. "Who else has access to our card?" she asked. "No one, just us." "Then how?" "I don't know." His voice was louder than it needed to be. Then softer. "I don't know, but we'll figure it out. Okay, we'll call the bank tomorrow, we'll report it as fraud, What if it's not fraud?" The question hung between them. Daniel looked at her, and in his eyes she saw something that made her stomach turn. Not guilt, fear. "You think I'm cheating on you," he said. "I didn't say that." "But you're thinking it." She was thinking it. Of course she was thinking it. What else was she supposed to think? "I need to know the truth," she said. "The truth is I didn't book that room." His voice was steady now, measured. "The truth is I love you. The truth is someone is screwing with us and I don't know why." That night Maya didn't sleep. She lay beside Daniel, listening to him breathe, and tried to make sense of it. Fraud was possible. Identity theft was possible, but the specificity bothered her. The Sandpiper Inn was 40 minutes away, not across the country, not some random city. Orlando, where Daniel's college friend Marcus lived, where Daniel had driven 3 times in the past 6 months for work meetings. At 2:18 a.m. she got out of bed. Downstairs, she opened her laptop and searched for the Sandpiper Inn. The website was basic, a teal and white design that looked like it hadn't been updated since 2012. Comfortable rooms, affordable rates, free Wi-Fi. She clicked on the contact page and wrote an email to the general manager. My name is Maya Chen. My husband's credit card was charged for a room on July 17th, but he claims he wasn't there. I'm trying to understand what happened. Is there any way you could verify whether he actually checked in? I know this is unusual, but I'm concerned about fraud. She hit send before she could second-guess herself. The next morning, Daniel called the credit card company. Maya listened from the couch while he explained the situation to a customer service representative. Yes, I'm reporting unauthorized charges. No, I didn't make this transaction. No, I don't know who did. When he hung up, he said, they're opening a fraud investigation. They'll send us a form to fill out. How long does that take? 4 to 6 weeks. 4 to 6 weeks. That's what they said. Maya's phone buzzed, an email from the Sandpiper Inn. Dear Mrs. Chen, thank you for reaching out. I understand your concern. I've reviewed our records for July 17th, and I can confirm that a Daniel Chen did check in that afternoon using a MasterCard ending in 4829. The reservation was made online the night before. I've attached a copy of the check-in log for your reference. If you believe this is fraudulent activity, I recommend filing a police report. Best regards, Patricia Holt, General Manager. Attached was a PDF. Maya opened it. There on line 14, Daniel Chen, room 208. Check-in time 3:47 p.m. Vehicle, Honda Accord, license plate JKL8293. JKL8293, Daniel's license plate. Maya's hands went cold. She read the line again, then again. Maya, Daniel was looking at her. What is it? She turned the laptop toward him. He stared at the screen. His face went pale. That's not possible. That's your license plate. I know, but he stood up, started packing. I was at work all day. I didn't go to any motel. Then how did someone get your license plate number? It's on the car. Anyone could see it. But they'd have to know to use it. They'd have to know your name, your credit card number, your license plate. Maya, stop. His voice was sharp. You're acting like I did this. I'm not. You are. You're looking at me like I'm lying to you. Because it doesn't make sense. Someone books a motel room in your name, uses our credit card, gives your license plate number, and you want me to believe it's just a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. It's someone targeting us. Who would do that? I don't know. They stared at each other. Maya's heart was pounding. She felt like she was standing on the edge of something, and if she took one more step, everything would collapse. I'm going to drive there, she said. What? To the motel. I'm going to talk to them in person. Maya, they're not going to tell you anything. Privacy laws. I don't care. I need to see it for myself. Then I'm coming with you. No. Maya. No, if you're lying to me, I need to know, and I can't know if you're there. He looked at her for a long time, then he nodded. Okay, but call me when you get there, please. The drive to the Sandpiper Inn took 43 minutes. Maya spent most of it replaying the past 6 months in her head, the late nights, the work trips, the time Daniel's phone had buzzed at 11 p.m. and he'd said it was Jeff from the office, but when she'd glanced at the screen, she'd seen a name she didn't recognize. Amanda. When she'd asked about it later, he'd said it was a new project manager, that he'd saved her number wrong. She'd believed him, or she'd chosen to believe him. There was a difference she was realizing. The Sandpiper Inn sat on a service road off Route 528, wedged between a Denny's and a shuttered gas station. The building was 2 stories, painted a faded teal that might have looked cheerful once. The parking lot was half empty. A neon sign blinked, VANCY. Maya parked and walked into the lobby. The air inside smelled like industrial cleaner and old carpet. Behind the desk sat a woman in her 50s with reading glasses on a chain. "Can I help you?" she asked. "I'm Maya Chen. I emailed Patricia Holt yesterday about a reservation." The woman's expression shifted, recognition, then wariness. "You're the one asking about the July 17th booking." "Yes. Patricia's not here today, but she told me you might stop by." The woman, her name tag said DENISC, leaned forward. "Look, I'm not supposed to discuss guest information, but between you and me, if my husband's name showed up on a motel check-in log, I'd want answers too. Do you remember checking him in?" "I wasn't working that day. That was Kev. He works afternoons." "Is there any way I could talk to him?" Denise hesitated. Then she picked up the desk phone and dialed. "Kev, yeah, it's Denise. There's someone here asking about a check-in from last week. Yeah, the Chen one. Okay, thanks." She hung up. "He'll be here in 20 minutes. He lives close." Maya waited in the lobby, sitting in a cracked vinyl chair near a table stacked with tourist brochures. She texted Daniel, at the motel, waiting to talk to the clerk who checked in, Daniel Chen. He replied immediately, "Be careful, I love you." She stared at the message. 3 words she'd heard 1,000 times. 3 words that suddenly felt like a question. 19 minutes later, a man in his early 20s walked through the door. Skinny, with a scraggly beard and a sandpiper in polo shirt. Denise waved him over and pointed at Maya. "You're asking about July 17th, Kev said." "Yes, my husband's name was used to check into room 208. I'm trying to figure out if he was actually here." Kev scratched his beard. "What's your husband look like?" Maya pulled up a photo on her phone. Daniel at her brother's wedding last year. Smiling, one arm around her shoulders. Dark hair, clean-shaven, glasses. Kev studied the photo. "Yeah, that's him." Maya's stomach dropped. "You're sure?" "Pretty sure. I mean, I check in like 30 people a day, but I remember him because he seemed nervous. Kept looking at his phone. Asked if we had rooms in the back." "In the back?" "Away from the parking lot. People ask for that sometimes when they're, you know, when they're cheating." He didn't say it, but Maya heard it anyway. "Was he alone?" "When he checked in, yeah. But later?" Kev shifted uncomfortably. "Look, I can't really." "Please, I need to know." He glanced at Denise, who nodded slightly. "I didn't see anyone come in with him, but around 6 I went out for a smoke break and I saw a woman walking toward the back. Room 208 is back there." Maya's chest tightened. "What did she look like?" "I don't know, I didn't get a good look. Dark hair maybe, it was getting dark." "Did you see her leave?" "No, my shift ended at 7. Maya sat there processing. Then she asked, "Do you still have the security footage?" "We don't have cameras in the parking lot, just in the lobby." "Can I see the lobby footage from that day?" Denise cut in. "That would require a police request, I'm sorry." Maya nodded. She felt numb. She thanked them and walked back to her car, sat in the driver's seat with her hands on the wheel. Kev had identified Daniel, had seen a woman. The pieces fit together in a way that made her sick. But something didn't fit. Daniel had been home by 11 that night. If he'd checked into the motel at 3:47 and stayed until the next morning, how had he been home by 11? She pulled out her phone and opened the check-in log Patricia had sent. Checked out, 10:22 a.m., July 18th. But Daniel had been home the night of the 17th. She was sure of it. She'd fallen asleep around midnight and he'd been beside her. She called the motel from the parking lot. Denise answered. "Hi, this is Maya Chen again. I have a question about the checkout time. It says 10:22 a.m. on July 18th. Does that mean someone used the keycard to unlock the door at that time?" "Exactly. When you check out, you use the card to lock the door from the outside. That logs the time." So someone was in the room at 10:22 on the 18th. That's what it means. Maya hung up. Her mind was racing. Daniel couldn't have been in two places at once. Either he'd been home that night, which she knew he had been, or he'd been at the motel, but both couldn't be true. Unless someone else had used the keycard. She drove home in a daze. When she walked in, Daniel was sitting on the couch, his laptop open in front of him. He looked up. "What did you find out?" She told him everything. Kev's identification, the woman, the checkout time. Daniel's face went through a series of emotions, shock, anger, something like relief. "That proves it wasn't me," he said. "I was home by 11 on the 17th. You saw me. If someone checked out at 10:22 the next morning, it had to be someone else. But Kev identified you from your photo. Then he's mistaken, or lying, or..." Daniel ran a hand through his hair. "Maya, think about it. Someone is using my identity. They have my credit card information, my license plate, and apparently they look enough like me to fool a desk clerk. This is identity theft. We need to report this to the police. Or you're lying to me." The words came out before she could stop them. Daniel stared at her. "You think I'm lying?" "I don't know what to think. Maya, I was home, you saw me. I saw you come home at 11. I don't know where you were before that." "I was at work." "Prove it." "What?" "Prove you were at work. Show me your calendar, your emails, something." Daniel opened his laptop, pulled up his work calendar. July 17th was blocked out. Meridian Pitch, all-day conference room B. He clicked on his sent emails. Multiple messages sent between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m., all to people on the Meridian team. "There," he said, "I was in the office, I was working." Maya stared at the screen. The emails were real. The calendar was real, but calendars could be faked. Emails could be sent from anywhere. "I want to talk to Jeff," she said. "Fine, call him." She did. Jeff Brennan, Daniel's manager. The call went to voicemail. She left a message. "Jeff, this is Maya Chen, Daniel's wife. I'm calling because I need to verify that Daniel was at work all day on July 17th. Can you call me back? It's important." While they waited, Maya opened her laptop and searched for identity theft stories. She found dozens. People whose names had been used to book hotel rooms, rent cars, open credit cards. It happened. It was possible. But the specificity still bothered her. Why the Sandpiper Inn? Why Orlando? Why July 17th? Jeff called back 20 minutes later. Maya put him on speaker. "Maya, hey, is everything okay? I'm trying to verify that Daniel was at work all day on July 17th. Can you confirm that?" A pause. "July 17th. That was the Meridian Pitch day, right?" "Yes." "Then yeah, Daniel was here. We had meetings from 9 to 5. Why?" "Someone used his credit card to book a motel room that day. We're trying to figure out if it's fraud." "Jesus. Yeah, no, he was definitely here. I can send you the meeting notes if you need them." "That would be helpful, thank you." After she hung up, Daniel looked at her, satisfied. She wasn't, not really. Because Jeff's confirmation meant that Daniel had been at work, which meant someone else had checked into the Sandpiper in using his name. But who? And why? Over the next 3 days, Maya became obsessed. She compiled a list of everyone who might have access to Daniel's information. His coworkers, his family, old friends. She checked his social media, looking for anyone who might have a grudge. She found nothing. On July 23rd, she received a call from Detective Sarah Akoy with the Orlando Police Department. Maya had filed a report 2 days earlier, at Daniel's insistence. "Mrs. Chen, I'm calling about your identity theft report. I've reviewed the information you provided, and I have some follow-up questions." "Okay." "You mentioned that the desk clerk at the Sandpiper Inn identified your husband from a photo. Is that correct?" "Yes." "And you're certain your husband was at work during the time of the check-in?" His manager confirmed it. I see. A pause. Mrs. Chen, I need to ask you something, and I want you to be honest with me. Is it possible your husband was at the motel and he's lying about it? Maya's throat tightened. I don't think so. But you're not sure? No, I'm not sure. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to request the security footage from the Sandpiper Inn. If we can get a clear image of whoever checked in that day, that might help us determine what's going on. In the meantime, I'd recommend you change your credit card numbers and put a fraud alert on your credit reports. We already did that. Good, I'll be in touch. The security footage arrived a week later. Detective Akoy called Maya and asked her to come to the station. Daniel came with her. They sat in a small office while Akoy pulled up a video file on her computer. This is from July 17th, 3:43 p.m. Watch the person approaching the desk. The video was grainy, black and white. A figure walked into frame. Male, dark hair, average build. He leaned on the desk, talked to Kev, handed over a credit card. Maya's hands were shaking. The figure looked like Daniel. The height was right. The build was right. Even the way he stood, weight on one leg, hands in his pockets, was right. But she couldn't see his face clearly. The angle was wrong, and the resolution was too low. That's not me, Daniel said. His voice was quiet but firm. I swear to you that's not me. Akoy studied him. Mr. Chen, I've been doing this job for 12 years. I've seen a lot of people lie to me. I've also seen a lot of innocent people in bad situations. Right now, I'm trying to figure out which category you fall into. I'm innocent. Then help me understand. Someone who looks like you, knows your credit card information, knows your license plate number and books a motel room in your name. Who would do that? I don't know. Do you have any enemies? Anyone who might want to hurt you or your wife? Daniel thought for a moment, then shook his head. No, not that I can think of. Akoy looked at Maya. What about you, Mrs. Chen? Anyone who might want to cause problems in your marriage? Maya's mind flashed to Daniel's coworkers, to Marcus, the college friend, to Amanda, the name she'd seen on his phone. I don't know, she said. After they left the police station, they sat in the car for a long time without speaking. Finally, Daniel said, You still don't believe me. I want to believe you. But you don't. Maya looked at him, really looked at him. The man she'd married 3 years ago, the man she'd trusted with everything. I don't know what to believe anymore, she said. That night, Maya did something she'd never done before. She went through Daniel's phone while he was in the shower. She opened his messages, his emails, his photos. She checked his location history, his call logs, his app usage. She found nothing, no incriminating texts, no secret email accounts, no evidence of an affair. But when she opened his Google Maps timeline, she saw something that made her stop. July 17th, 3:47 p.m. Location, Sandpiper Inn, Orlando. She stared at the screen. The phone had logged him at the motel, at the exact time of check-in. She felt like she was falling, like the ground had opened beneath her. When Daniel came out of the bathroom, she was sitting on the bed, his phone in her hand. What are you doing? He asked. She showed him the screen. His face went white. That's not possible. It's right here. I didn't, Maya, I swear I didn't go there. He took the phone from her, stared at it. This is wrong. The location is wrong. How can GPS be wrong? I don't know. Maybe someone spoofed it, maybe. Daniel, stop. Her voice was shaking. Just stop. I need you to tell me the truth. Were you at that motel? No. Then why does your phone say you were? I don't know. Were you having an affair? The question hung in the air. Daniel looked at her, and for the first time she saw tears in his eyes. No, he said. Maya, I have never cheated on you. I love you. I don't know what's happening, but I need you to believe me. She wanted to. God, she wanted to. But the evidence was piling up, piece by piece, and every piece pointed in the same direction. "I can't do this," she said. "I can't keep doing this." "Maya, I think you should stay somewhere else tonight." He stared at her. "You're kicking me out." "I need space. I need to think. If I leave, you're going to convince yourself I'm guilty. If you stay, I'm going to lose my mind." They looked at each other. Then Daniel grabbed his jacket and his keys and left. Maya sat alone in the bedroom, listening to his car pull out of the driveway. She felt empty, hollow. She didn't sleep that night. At 2:37 a.m., she opened her laptop and booked a room at the Sandpiper Inn. Room 208, the same room. She needed to see it for herself. The next morning, she drove back to Orlando, checked in at the desk. Denise was working again. "Back again," Denise said, handing her a key card. "I need to see the room," Maya said. Room 208 was on the second floor, at the end of a long hallway. Maya unlocked the door and stepped inside. It was exactly what she'd expected. A generic motel room, 2 double beds, a TV mounted on the wall, a bathroom with a cracked tile floor. It smelled like cigarettes and air freshener. She sat on the edge of the bed and tried to imagine Daniel here, tried to imagine him with someone else. She couldn't. Or maybe she could, and that was the problem. She stayed in the room for 3 hours. She searched every drawer, every closet, every corner. She found nothing. Just a Gideon Bible and a room service menu from 2015. At 2 p.m., someone knocked on the door. Maya opened it. A woman stood in the hallway. Late 30s, dark hair pulled back in a ponytail. She looked surprised to see Maya. "Oh, sorry, I thought," she stopped. "Are you staying in this room?" "Yes, who are you?" "I'm Amanda Reeves, I think. I think we need to talk." Maya's heart stopped. Amanda, the name from Daniel's phone. "How did you know I was here?" Maya asked. "I didn't. I came looking for answers. Same as you, I think." They sat in the motel room on opposite beds. Amanda had a folder in her lap. "I'm a project manager at Meridian Technologies," Amanda said. "I've been working with your husband for about 4 months. I know who you are." "Then you should know this. I've never had an affair with Daniel. We're colleagues, that's all." "Then why are you here?" Amanda opened the folder. Inside were printouts, credit card statements, motel receipts, check-in logs. "Because someone used my name to book this room too," Amanda said. 3 weeks ago, July 3rd. Maya stared at the papers. There it was, Amanda Reeves, room 208, check-in 4:12 p.m., checkout 9:15 a.m. "I didn't book this," Amanda said. "Just like Daniel didn't book his. Someone is setting us up." "Why?" "I don't know, but I think whoever's doing this wants people to think we're having an affair." Maya's mind was spinning. Who would do that? "I've been trying to figure that out. At first, I thought it was my ex-husband. We had a messy divorce last year, and he's the kind of person who holds grudges. But when I looked into it, he was out of the country when my reservation was made." "So who else?" Amanda hesitated. "There's someone at work, Tyler Nguyen. He applied for a promotion that Daniel got. He took it hard, made some comments about Daniel not deserving it." "You think Tyler did this?" "I don't know, but it's the only lead I have." They sat in silence for a moment. Then Maya said, "If someone's framing you and Daniel, why? What do they gain?" "Maybe they want Daniel to lose his job, or his marriage, or both." Maya felt sick. "I almost gave them what they wanted. I kicked Daniel out last night." "Call him," Amanda said. "Tell him what you know." Maya did. Daniel answered on the first ring. "Maya, I'm at the Sandpiper Inn, room 208. I'm with Amanda Reeves." A pause. "Amanda, what?" "Someone used her name to book this room too, 3 weeks ago. Daniel, I think someone's trying to destroy both of you." She could hear him breathing on the other end. Then, I'm on my way. Daniel arrived 40 minutes later. The three of them sat in that motel room and compared notes. The check-in times, the fake reservations, the way their GPS data had been manipulated. "This is sophisticated," Daniel said. "Whoever's doing this knows how to spoof credit cards and GPS locations." "Tyler worked in it before he switched to project management," Amanda said. "He'd know how to do this." "We need proof," Maya said. They spent the next 2 days gathering evidence. Maya filed a formal complaint with Meridian Technologies. Daniel requested his personnel file and discovered that someone had filed an anonymous HR complaint against him 3 weeks earlier, claiming he'd been using company resources for personal travel. The dates matched, the fake motel reservations, the fake complaints, it was all connected. Detective Akoy reopened the investigation. Tyler Nguyen was brought in for questioning. At first, he denied everything. But when confronted with the IP addresses traced to his home computer, the credit card skimmers he'd used, and the GPS spoofing software on his laptop, he broke. He'd done it all, the fake reservations, the manipulated location data, the anonymous complaints. He'd wanted to destroy Daniel's career and marriage, to make him lose everything. "He took what was mine," Tyler said during the interrogation. Maya watched the recording later. "The promotion, the recognition. I worked twice as hard and he got everything. I wanted him to feel what that's like, to lose something you thought was yours." Tyler Nguyen was arrested and charged with identity theft, fraud, and cyberstalking. The trial took 8 months. He was convicted on all counts. But the damage was done. Maya and Daniel stayed together, but something had shifted. The trust that had been broken didn't heal cleanly. There were nights when Maya would wake up at 3 a.m. and wonder if she'd ever really know the truth. Nights when Daniel would see her looking at him, and he'd know she was still questioning. They went to therapy, they talked about it, they tried to move forward. But Maya couldn't forget the way she'd felt in that motel room, holding evidence that pointed to her husband. Couldn't forget the doubt that had crept in and made a home in her chest. A year later, they were sitting at dinner when Maya's phone buzzed. An email from an address she didn't recognize. The subject line read, "You should know." She opened it. Inside was a photo, recent from the timestamp. Daniel standing outside a coffee shop with a woman. The woman had dark hair, was smiling up at him. Daniel's hand was on her shoulder. Maya's stomach dropped. She showed Daniel the email. He looked at the photo and his face went pale. "That's Rebecca," he said. "She's a new hire. We were at a team lunch. Maya, this is nothing." "Then why would someone send me this?" They both knew the answer. Tyler was in prison, but the seed he'd planted was still there. The doubt, the fear, the constant questioning. "We need to change our email passwords," Daniel said. "Our phone numbers, everything." They did. They locked down their digital lives, but the emails kept coming. Different addresses, different photos, always something that looked suspicious but had an innocent explanation. Maya started to wonder if it would ever stop. If they'd spend the rest of their lives looking over their shoulders, waiting for the next piece of manufactured evidence. One night, 3 months after the first email, Maya was lying in bed when she realized something. Tyler was still in prison. These emails weren't coming from him. She got up, went downstairs, and opened her laptop. She traced the IP addresses. They led to a proxy server in Eastern Europe. Dead end. But when she looked at the metadata on the photos, she found something. A location tag. The same location on every photo, an address in Tampa. The next day, she drove to Tampa. The address was an apartment building in a quiet neighborhood. She parked across the street and waited. At 3 p.m., a woman came out. Mid-30s, dark hair, familiar. Maya recognized her from the motel security footage. The woman Kev had seen walking toward room 208. Maya got out of the car and crossed the street. "Excuse me." The woman turned. Up close, Maya could see she had Daniel's eyes, his nose. "Can I help you?" the woman asked. "I think you've been sending me emails," Maya said. The woman's expression didn't change. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Yes, you do. You've been sending me photos of my husband, trying to make me think he's cheating." "Maybe he is." "Who are you?" The woman smiled. "I'm Daniel's sister, Emily." Maya felt the ground shift. Daniel doesn't have a sister. "Yes, he does. He just never told you about me." Later, Maya would learn the whole story. Emily Chen had been estranged from the family for 15 years, a falling out over money, over choices, over things that had calcified into permanent rifts. Daniel had cut her out of his life completely. Hadn't mentioned her to Maya because, in his mind, she didn't exist anymore. But Emily had found him, had tracked him down through social media, had discovered he was married and happy and successful. And she decided to take that away from him. Tyler's plan had been sophisticated, but Emily's was worse. She'd waited, watched, let Tyler do the initial damage, then swooped in to finish the job. The emails, the photos, the constant drip of suspicion. "He left me behind," Emily told the police later. "He got everything and I got nothing. I wanted him to know what that feels like." Emily was charged with cyberstalking.